Take one. Hey guys, today I want to talk about one of my favourite spreads. Some people like or hate certain yeast extracts. Others like their peanut butter or maybe some chocolate spread. Me, I like my buy, sell spread, also known as profit. So originally I wanted to get out some fundamental principles about investing, personal finance before making this video, but there is an imminent deadline that's just around the corner, which is why I'm kind of rushing a little bit to get this video out and to get some of these tips out there for you guys. So what is the buy-sell spread? So the buy-sell spread can also be known as profit. So in the world of finance, when you buy a certain product or you buy stock, you would have a buy price, and when you want to sell your product or stock, you will have a sell price. You would usually find that the buy price would be slightly higher, your sell price can be a little bit lower. The difference between the two would be what's called a spread, or to the broker it will be their profit.
So let's have a look at an example. So I'm on the Hargreaves and Lansdowne website, and we're looking at the Viva PLC stock. So here on the stock page, you can see there's two prices here. We've got the sell price at 408.70, and then you've got the buy price here at 409. So if you wanted to sell your stock, you can sell it at this price, the quoted price here. If you want to buy the stock of the broker, this would be the price that you would be quoted to buy at. So the way the stockbroker would make his profit, he would buy the stock off another investor at the sell price, and then he would sell it on to you at another investor at the buy price. So the broker would, the difference between the two prices, it would be the margin for the broker to make his profit. So that would be how to work in an example of a stock.
So some of you might be thinking, well, I'm not a stockbroker, how's this relevant to me? Well, to be honest, we can all of us be the middleman. We can all take advantage of the buy-sell spread difference. So in personal finance, there are many entities who would be willing to give you money or lend you money at a very cheap interest rate. So on one side you'll have lenders. Some of these lenders can be your credit card providers, it can be mortgage, it can be a personal loan, it could also be venture capitalists. So these are all sources of what can potentially be cheap money. So on the other hand, you can have borrowers. So your borrowers can be your bonds, it can be your maybe savings accounts, your banks. You can also be current accounts, monthly savings, your lifetime ISAs, SIPs. These are all potential sources of high returns. So in this strategy, what we would aim to do would be to borrow cheap from these different sources, and then we would lend it at a higher interest to people who would probably make slightly better use of the money. The price that we borrow at minus the price that we lend at, or the interest rate. So the interest rate that we would borrow at minus the interest rate that we would lend at, that will be your profit.
Okay, let me just pause it here for a second. What I actually meant was that the interest rate that we lend at minus the interest rate that we borrow at, what's left behind, then that would be your profit.
So that spread, or your buy-sell spread, will be for you to keep. So this strategy of borrowing money to save or to invest is known as gearing or leveraging, because you're almost borrowing someone else's money to help lever your own investments and grow at a faster pace. So the deadline I'm talking about is the 5th of April, which is the tax year end. Why is this important? It's because every tax year, from the 6th of April to the 5th of April next, every individual is given an allowance. So this allowance is to help you to save tax-free. So what you earn and what you paid in income tax, you can potentially get back to help with your savings towards retirement. Why is this deadline important? The reason it's important is because for every tax year, the allowance that you are given for tax rebate, if you don't use it for that tax year, you will lose it forever. So the tax rebate is essentially free money from the government. In my books, any free money is good money. So how can we benefit from the tax year? So this strategy would mean is you can borrow cheaply from these different sources, such as your credit cards, maybe from personal loans. So currently with personal loans, you can borrow as cheap as 2.8%, 3%. With credit cards, you can get cash transfer product from credit card. And even mortgages now, it can be as low as 2.5% for interest rates. So the money that you borrow from these sources, you can then transfer into a lifetime ISA, maybe even a SIP. Even some current accounts can be paying you 5%. So you will be borrowing cheap at around 2%, 3%, put it in a way into an ISA or one of these accounts where you can potentially be gaining back 20%, or if you're a higher taxpayer, even 40, 45%. So this means that you can get a lump sum from the bank, you can save it away before the tax year end and make maximum use of your tax rebate, and then you can gradually pay back the loan after the tax year. So by using this strategy, so it's almost like a save now, pay later plan. But beware, this strategy is not for everyone. So who is this strategy good for? So this strategy is good for people who are committed to their retirement, not for people who are interested in having a comfortable retirement. The reason I say that is because just being interested isn't going to be enough. If you lose interest in this halfway through, it can cost you dearly. So this strategy is good for people who are disciplined enough to keep up their monthly payments. So if you've got credit cards which you clear off every month, or you have a mortgage that you pay bang on time every month, this would be a good strategy for you. If you are not disciplined and you tend to be someone who's quite frivolous with their money, then you should avoid this strategy, as you could be potentially defaulting on payments and even potentially risk your home. This is also good for people who may be expecting a bumper bonus towards the end of the year, or people who are expecting a pay rise in the next month or two, few months, or maybe if you're expecting maybe an inheritance, maybe expecting a windfall later on in the year. So this strategy is also good for people who have a basic understanding of investment, or they have previous experience of investing as well. So what are the pros and cons? Well, some of the pros, because of the gearing allows you to supercharge your investments, so it allows your investments to grow at a faster rate. It also helps encourage you to save into your retirement, as your payments are by direct debit, it's monthly, and it's a debt that you have to pay back to the lender. So you have no choice but to repay it back. You have no choice but to commit to paying into your retirement. And also because the repayments are automated, it's almost like you can set it and forget it. So that's the pros. The flip side, the cons. What are the cons? Now remember, because in this strategy we are borrowing money, so similar to the pro where it can compound and speed up your investments, on the flip side it can also compound potential losses as well. It can also be a riskier strategy, because not only does your original investment lose money, you're also having to repay back the loan at a cost as well. Another thing is your credit score can take a hit, because each time you apply for credit, or you apply for a credit card or a loan, you will be subject to a hard credit check. If you do too many applications closely together, you can almost look desperate to the lender. Be aware, if you are maybe looking to be purchasing property or making a big purchase in the near future, there's probably a strategy best to avoid until you have completed all those commitments. For the example of a lifetime ISA, if you save away $4,000, which is a maximum that an individual can save, the government will give you back £1,000 for you to invest with. So you almost have a 20% buffer for your investments before you can essentially take any losses in your investment. So some of you might think, well, what if I can't afford the maximum amount to be saving away? In that case, what you can do is kind of work backwards. So say to yourself, how much can I afford to commit every month. So maybe you might say, I can afford £200 every month to put away for my savings. So you can take that £200, multiply it by 12 months, so you get 2,400. So when you do apply for the loan, you can apply for 2,400, which is what you know you can commit to. You can put that 2,400 into your savings vehicle, claim back your 20% tax rebate, so in this case £600, and then you can gradually commit to paying back the loan over the year, which would be maybe at 3% interest. So what does it cost you in your 3% interest? You would far exceed with the 20% rebate from the government. So the difference between the 3% and the 20% would be your spread, or it would be your profit. So another way of looking at profit in terms of we all know would be maybe looking at the retail industry. So when you're buying your stock or your goods at a certain price, and then you're selling it on at a high price with a margin, and that would be your profit. So some of us at home, we always have things that maybe you can sell to make small profits on. So for example, my wife recently, she's just made her first sale on eBay. All it was a travel mug, and she made which didn't cost her anything to acquire. We sold it on for about £15. Didn't cost her anything to acquire it, so she made a profit of £15. And then literally overnight, she rummaged through the house and found hundreds of items which she doesn't use, which she doesn't get any enjoyment from, and she's listed all on platforms like Shop, like eBay, to sell it on to maybe to another home where people can enjoy it more and maybe get some value out of it. So for her, it didn't have any value. She literally, by the next day, she literally sold the garden gnome. I mean, some of these things were garden ornaments that were left by previous homeowners. For us, we didn't get any enjoyment out of it, we didn't get any value out of it. In fact, we were even looking to just taking it to a local dump yard and chucking it. But credit to her, she managed to find a buyer for a couple of pounds. So rather than us taking the effort, time, maybe the petrol to getting rid of it, she managed to find a buyer to just pick it up, take it from home for a couple of pounds. So it saves her hassle, and also the ornament gets to go to another home where someone else might appreciate it more than we would. So it just shows that having a positive mindset, you can make suddenly in your mind, you can have ideas where you can make connections, and you start to see the opportunities and the potentials and all the possibilities. So for that, I've been very proud of her. So I want to encourage this, and hopefully this would be a great way to earn some extra money on the side. Also for her to learn some new skills, it would be a great new business opportunity. So guys, I hope this video has been useful. Let me know what you guys think. If you've got some questions that you want to know, or something that you'd like me to expand on, so hit me up in the comments below. Give me a like, subscribe, and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.